Hello, nice to meet you again. And today we are going to talk about the four skills of language learning and how to improve your communication and conversational skills. So there are four skills of language learning. They are listening, reading, writing, and speaking. And actually, all four are really necessary to master a language. And like any form of learning, studying English is a mental exercise that requires daily practice to form new knowledge. So let's talk about those four skills separately. So in order to take into consideration listening, one of the key elements of learning language is listening. Yeah, it's true. And listening can be both a passive and active form of learning. As we hear words being pronounced and used in sentence, we absorb information that we store for future use. And listening is the skill that is easy to incorporate into your daily life. And if you have the opportunity to spend time in English-speaking country, you will have the benefit of listening to the language all around you. If to talk about those who cannot go abroad and practice your English, there are different stuff on the internet which you can use, such as different music, English music, or English TV shows, or English movies, and you can both use all of those material information in order to practice your listening skills. If to talk about reading, you have to pay attention that it's similar to listening, and also reading is very important way to absorb the English language. So the beauty of listening and reading is that you do not have to produce any language on your own and create your own speech patterns. Instead, you are consuming the language and storing knowledge for you to later use as building blocks for writing and speaking. As to take writing kind of a skill of language, this is mostly, I suppose, yeah, this is the most difficult to learn, as it takes time, as it takes patience, and of course repetition. Writing is an opportunity to use the words you've learned and produce the English language on your own. Unlike reading and listening, where the content is provided for you, writing requires you to create something new. This can be rather difficult when you are first learning English, and the only one way to practice writing is to pick up themes and topics and give yourself assignments. This can help jumpstart your creativity and keep your studies engaging and challenging. And the last one, speaking, the fourth language skill, and it's like writing. Speaking requires you to produce something, to produce your own content, and it also requires you to use the other skill you learned. I mean, in particular, it's listening. The important thing to remember is that speaking a new language doesn't have to be really perfect. You have to pay attention that you can speak accurately English or fluently, and it's very seldom when those two parts can connect together. So become to use speech patterns as you wish and try to follow your own communication style. It can be like, you see, while speaking Ukrainian language, you have your own style, your own communication style, and English as a foreign language should also fit to you. It should be rather comfortable to use and to speak. So there are four steps to learn English speaking. Step one, so the most common type of speaking for a new English learner is typically done in the form of basic conversations. So you can pick up your basic phrases from some daily conversation and use them in your daily speech, such as what is the time or how are you doing. So, and while outlining those speech patterns, the most so those which are the most used in English language, you can fluently use them in your own speech because they are created, made, and it's like kind of cliche for you to use. Step 2 is when you want to speak and when you want to talk beyond common phrases. So you have to give yourself a set of vocabulary words which really are useful and are comfortable, and you feel comfortable using them. You can't speak if you don't know any words to say. So memorizing vocabulary is really necessary. It's the best to start with words you normally use every day in your daily life, and afterwards you can broaden your vocabulary list with some special words. Step 3. Once you have basic conversation and vocabulary words to use, you should build your own language skill in the best way to help fit your language needs. First, decide what kind of English would you like to learn. So why are you learning English? If you are visiting some English-speaking country, you have to pay attention more on touristic vocabulary. If you are going to work on some business, you have to pay attention on business vocabulary. You can use navigation vocabulary, driving, entertainment, and so on. So you have to focus on your needs, and if it's connected with your profession, so firstly you have to know and to learn more professional vocabulary. So the most basic tips for spoken English, first one is to practice, practice, and practice. Speaking can be very uncomfortable, and it's sometimes person needs time to like break down this speaking block, but when you practice hard and often, so English language as a second language can be rather comfortable for you. And if you can find someone to talk to in person, you can connect with people all around the world on video chat, for example. Yeah, or use some apps in your phone or computer or laptop in order to speak with different people, native speakers or other ESL speakers. So the best way is to practice. Secondly, you have to find a tutor. Yeah, as I'm a tutor, I will of course advise you to find a tutor, because native speaking tutors or other tutors are great resource for improving your speaking skills. And of course, personally, I advise you to study in groups when you can meet with other students, and your tutor can create different kind of situations, dialogues, or group works in order to like describe the daily situation which you can have in the future. Of course, it's exchanging language exchanging, and it really works. But of course, you can work with your tutor individually, personally. You can use it offline or online lessons, and first thing you have to like tell your tutors that all forces should be sent into your speaking and communication skills. The third tip is to imitate others. In addition to speaking with others, you can also practice alone. Yeah, it can be. You can practice alone by imitating native speakers, trying to repeat their accents while watching TV shows, movies, or videos online. And you have to repeat what you hear. It also will help you to produce more clear language without some accent, or actually accent which you like, and it really will improve your pronunciation. Mastering a new language takes time and dedication. Speaking is the biggest challenge for everyone, and of course, in order to be more fluent in English language, you have to speak a lot. You have to be patient to yourself, and if you follow all those steps which I've told you about, you will improve your speaking, of course, and you will be successful in the end. Be straightforward, try to enjoy the process. Maybe it's better for you to divide the whole process of English learning on smaller parts, smaller steps, in order for you to get inspiration for the next one. You can achieve some success in a little part, you can celebrate your achievement, and it will inspire you to continue to the next step. The process will be definitely slow, but varying your practice and trying new methods will keep your studies fun and challenging. And you have to remember, all languages are vast and dynamic, so make your practice your own, and the reward really worth it. So in order to speak more fluently and confidently, I would like to tell you some more tips. First one is be realistic about your English learning goals. So in order to create a goal like I want to speak English fluently, it doesn't matter that you will absolutely gain this goal. So you have to create more realistic goals. Practice speaking as well, not just reading and listening. You have to connect all language skills while learning English. It's a great and huge mistake when you come to a tutor and say, I want to talk. That's all. I don't want to write, to speak, to read, and to listen. I want to speak only. No, it has to involve all four language skills. Practice speaking English whenever you get a chance. When you have 5-minute rest, a break, or lunchtime, you have to spend it on English, definitely, if you want to learn it perfectly well. So do not be afraid of making mistakes. Mistakes can make your English fluent. When you're not thinking about, when you don't think, oh, you see, mistake. When you don't think about your mistakes, your future mistakes, you will definitely speak without pauses, and your language will sound more naturally. Use simple sentences, of course, at first, then progress to more complex sentences, but firstly, simple sentences. Get a reliable English learning course. It's very important for you to choose the language course which will be interesting for you, not boring. Tutor communicating maybe, and smart enough to talk with you on different topics. Make an effort to improve your pronunciation. For that, you have to spend a lot of time at home. Try saying something extra. Learn from your mistakes and try to hear others' mistakes, especially when you work in a group. Listen to English language music. It can really make you feel more confident while communicating with native speakers in the future. Accept English and all its uniqueness. So try learning some new words every day, because vocabulary is really very different. There are huge lists of different phrases, words, and other. Try some public speaking. For that thing, really group work in some courses is really very helpful. Let English be all around you. Try to describe everything you see around. Become part of conversational groups and read your favorite books aloud. Everyone should read aloud. In that way, you will hear your pronunciation, your reading, and you will make your passive reading more active. Watch videos of popular songs online. Try thinking in English. And when you don't know some word, try to paraphrase it. Try creating your own responses rather than repeating what people usually say. Have confidence whenever you speak. Learn to listen better and be passionate about English. So your passion should provide you to a great success, and I'm sure that you will achieve your goal and will learn English. So be positive, optimistic. See you next time. Bye.